Okay, welcome everybody to round 9 of the Atomic World Challenge at Vespucci Beach GP. This race was created by KONIGVONFURZ, and today Sneaki Gyraffe has the pole. Alicia has come into second place, and Chewy, currently we're looking at, who has attended every race, has come in the third position. We have a very interesting thing that's going on with this race. With the point standings, last week you saw patient zero. He came in the first position. We found out, already early on we have a crash here, even in the parade lap. So in the last race you saw Demonic coming in second place in the race. Unfortunately, what we found out was that the lag that was coming out of patient zero was a big problem for him, and it ended up putting him in the second position. So he got that win taken away from him, and that kind of still put him with the finish that he had, put him in the top of the lead points for the last race. But with the handicap situation that we had, because his time was above par, he ended up getting moved back. So in this race, as you can see here, patient zero is going to be using a Sultan. Now that's going to put him in an interesting position, because during the point standings, the big guys that are leaders right now, it's going patient zero, 7 points down is Juxury. Juxury did not make the race. He was out because of being above par time when he raced. And then Agent Ranger, who was unable to attend the race. So they're tied for the second and third position. And if Patient's not able to get ahead with his point scores, those guys have a chance. We also see FS Zeus, who is another fan favorite of the group. And FS Zeus is currently in the fourth position, and he's not far out. So if he can make up some distance today with that awesome looking Spectre Custom, he's going to be able to do something with this race. The other racer below him is Chewy, which we saw earlier today. If Chewy can convert some of this race into something, he's going to be able to make, he's going to be able to move ahead and get some challenges against the lead positions, as well as Daddy Trump today, who's going to be using his Schwarzer. And that Schwarzer, we're hoping that he's going to be able to do something with that to move himself out of the sixth position. So the point standings as we see right now are patient zero, Juxury, Agent, Zeus, Chewy, Daddy Trump, and then Demonic, who unfortunately due to missing some races has kind of put him out of the point standings. So we're seeing today what's looking to building up to be a very exciting race. So we're going to follow Chewy here for a second and see some good racing. This is a very intricate track. It has double backs in it and some big U-turn parts that cause it to become a very difficult track. Even when you're slowing down, it's tough. So we see here Daddy Trump with his shafter, and you're going to see something that's interesting here. This is something we're going to change to the next ruling. As you can see, he's using dirt. Already crashed into Chewy. Not what Chewy needs to have happen straight out. Now we've got a big battle between these three. And these are guys that are going to be competing for the point standings right now. They're getting together. And going to start jockeying for position here. So as we see these dirt track tires here, that's something that's going to be going away in season 2. We have one more race left in this season, and we've talked to them. We're gonna allow. So Sneaky already getting that nice lap time. We're gonna allow these dirt track tires for this race, and then after the final season, the next one is going to disallow them. So you're probably wondering why you see the dirt track. And if you'll see the bumpers on the side of the road, the dirt track tires allow for a significant amount of control because it reduces the amount of rebound on the tires. So as they go through the corners, it allows our cars to be more stable. Cars like the Alpha here that would not be it's a luxury oriented car, it's a lot heavier, The Schwarzer is another one. They're not as nimble in the corners, but they have great top-end speed when they get out by themselves. So when these vehicles get their heaviness, they can take off a lot better, but they need to be able to corner and get out of those corners faster, and that's one of the problems. So one of the ways that these guys offset that is by putting those tires on. And again, we're going to remove that for the second season. So this will be the last season. So as you can see, in this race and the next race, you will see guys using those tires, and that's, like I said, it's going to change. So we're following around the course here, seeing if he can make some time. This is a new player that joined us from our last race. Seems to be doing really good. Came out with an LG RH8, made a pretty good qualifying time, and has been able to make some moves here during this race, which is pretty good to say the least. Hopefully he'll be able to convert something here and take himself kind of to the next level, which will be very good for him. So here, see Sneaky already taking a dominant lead over Alicia. Mobile's trying to get some moves. RPM, solid spot with that vehicle. And again, you'll see a lot, especially with RPM here. He does a very good job of making this alpha talk. And one of the things is alpha's from our pro class. And the pro class has, obviously with the pro level, does a lot more with speed-oriented moves. And one thing that RPM wanted to do was be able to compete in the GT class because, again, it's a lot more competitive. And to do that, he had to take some sort of handicap, and this alpha was the handicap that he took. And he's showing exactly what it takes for pro class guys to race in the series. Today's pro class race was very exciting. Again, we had Bryce and Alien Gypsy, two of our pro class fan favorites, fighting it out. And unfortunately, one of the errors that Alien's car had, unfortunately, right at the last turn, made Bryce's car roll into him and take him out of the race. And it was unfortunate to see it happen. Later on, we reviewed the playback and could definitely see that it was basically a technical error that, in reality, Bryce had not hit him. But it turned out to be a very controversial ending that took us most of the day today to figure out, rectify, and make sure everything was good. It ended, thankfully, amicably. Zavi is one of our faster pro guys, and he had won that pro class race. I think he won it by like 22 seconds. So, again, the reason that, I know we've discussed it in the past, but I always like bringing it back up, is that one of the things that keep us in the GT class, and the reason the GT class has more points, again, Sneaky getting a good lap up here. Very solid, strong run. We also see Daddy Trump doing okay. RPM, again, throwing in that 152 in there. That's really nice. So, again, why we don't cover the pro class and we cover the GT class. GT class is more competitive. You're going to see in this race exactly the top 5 guys. Oh, look, we're trading positions here with RPM. Had a tough time coming out of that turn right there with that elegy there. But RPM holding out on it hard, coming out of that lap. He's got that position. Very solid run for him. Coming up in third. Is he going to be able to make it up to Alicia? That's a good question. They're running to 52. He's got a 52. He's going to have to make some distance on that to build that lead over to get it back. So like I said, this is, you can see from these lap times, the top 5 guys in qualifying all actually had the same sort of lap time, very close together. And when you see these guys run, it's very interesting to see how the positions change based on attrition. So when they have problems, things get in the way of them. That's exactly why we see somebody that isn't able to finish up on their lap, or they're not able to take positions, is because the GT class is all about being consistent. Speed is always not an option. Most of the times when you see guys fighting it out or getting better lap times, it's because they're neck and neck. I'm sure we're going to see RPM patient zero, guys that really have to prove themselves in this race today. We're going to see them getting some very good times, and even with that, you'll see that these times are going to be very close together, and that's why this class is so much competitive versus the pro class, when we can see as much as a 6 to 7 second, maybe even 10-second shift between first and last position. So we can see here, Chewy is here's somebody, he has something to prove today. His car looks like it's getting a lot of damage to it. It may not be the run that he wants. Chewy again. He's shown up to every race this year. We've been very happy to have him, and he's tried many different cars and many different variations to try to get this car to convert in this class. And the reason he's done as well as he has is because he's consistently shown up to races, but he really hasn't been able to get a car that has worked with his style of racing, and we want to see him improve on that. And we're hoping in next season, if he can't pull it off this one he's currently 5th in the points. And here's Daddy Trump. Daddy Trump is in 6th position in points. He's very good at picking cars, and he's got a good car today with this kind of track because it has that good long straights. Whether he can convert that into speed into these tight corners here, it's going to be yet to see. We hope he's going to be able to. That's one thing that we've been looking out for is we continually look for new tracks, new places for us to take these racers to the next level and continue to give them more and more, I don't want to go technical so much as challenging tracks that multiple players can get in on and hone their skills while still being competitive. One thing I get a lot of players, like we invite people from the Midnight Club on Rockstar to join our races, and a lot of people will say, well, these guys that are, a lot of new players have gone into that class. We have 2 new players right here that are actually racing that they have no modifications on their vehicles at all. Some of them had about 5 races under the belt, so they probably have a couple of upgrades to their cars, but they came out today and they're racing strong, and we can see that they're not slopping around. They're putting the effort into it, and that's the beauty of the GT class. Is I don't want new players. I mean, we can see these times right here. It's Kill It Down at the bottom there, posting his 2. He's one of those guys that has not many upgrades to his vehicle. But we want to be able to have a race that these new guys can come in and be competitive and show up. Even with Chewy's bad year, over 10 races, he's been able to hold a solid 5th position of about 28 racers that he's been able to solidify his position and do fairly well. And if he got 1 or 2 good races, or was able to stick to a good 3rd to 4th position in every race, then his points are competitive enough that all he has to do is convert one to something big, and he can win. So that's something that, if you're sitting out there right now and you're saying, hey, I don't want to run this, these guys are pro racers, they're really guys that really put on the track and make a difference, I don't want that to keep you from challenging yourself as well as challenging these other racers. Here's Zombie Pilot. This is Zombie's first race. We've known him very well from other games like The Crew, and he's one of those guys that I really like competing with on the track. He's a clean racer. He's just fun to play around with. He's trying out his first thing, so he's going to throw this Karuma around and see what he's got out of it, and I expect good results from him today. At least he's going to have fun, and then later on down the road. So as we can see here, this is a car that has pretty much no upgrades on it, and he's doing his best in here to have fun with it and get his first rounds out. We're very proud of Gil for trying what he's doing today. Seeing him race has just been fun. I mean, look at that Jester. It's amazing looking. One of the funner cars on the track. Very Joker-oriented color scheme. But he's definitely making some skills, and he's making some strides. And some of the racers are going to get together and make sure that he's competitive in future races by helping him upgrade his car and get some skills and runs down the way. So like I said, if you have a track, if you have a racing experience, or you just want to experience the racing You're not dedicated to race every event. We have plenty of room for many different people. We're hoping the pro class has basically a lot of openings, so if you're a fast racer and you want to put your skills against other players with that kind of skill that's trying very hard to win and using different techniques that a lot of people aren't accustomed to, that's a class for you. Oh, here we have a big move on the inside. Yeah, he's got RPM's getting a block. He's very good about putting that block on. Coming on the inside, got a little squirrely. Can that be capitalized? He's coming on the outside. Still holding his position. Still got a hold on it. He's going to stranglehold that move. He doesn't want to give it up. And he's a competent racer on the inside. Dodged in, grabbed the hole. We're coming up on this big turn, a big left sweeper here. And taps. Oh, he breaks him out. Stops. RPM professional enough, stops to let him by. They get back in racing, but Daddy Trump has made a move, and here he comes to move. Zeus coming in on the inside to try to make something out of his turn to get his pass, and now he's fighting on the inside. Can he make this turn? And sliding out again. There's Zeus taking the outside line. I think that outside's going to push him out, and yeah, sure enough, there he's able to hold that position off. Daddy Trump has moved some distance up there. He's definitely putting it all out there to try to get it. This is where we talk about the battle of attrition that goes on in these races. Every race, there's some sort of competition where it comes to the idea of saying the one little mistake that you hate is the one that ruins your day. This right here, we're seeing this race. This is going to be a race of power versus finesse. That Spectre Custom is definitely a finesse car. Some of the Rockstar has made some changes to the way downforce and other handling capabilities works, but even with that, the Spectre Custom is a great car to use. Now I see him coming on the inside here. He's trying to capitalize with this, but it's very hard. RPM's taking up a lot of course, and the turns in here are very difficult to navigate, get around, and make something happen. So let's see if he can do something with this. This has been this section of the race here today with RPM. You'll see me tend to stay a lot. Look at that 150 up there. We see a lot of this area of the track being very competitive. It is very exciting racing to see somebody like RPM take a vehicle, take a couple of steps back, and look at the competitive nature that we have going on with this. They are just neck and neck battling it out, trying to take as much room out of that course as he can. We see some distance up there that they have to make up. Are they going to be able to change something with this? I don't know. We're going to have to see this. This is going to be basically the long haul here to see if this can become what he wants it to become and convert something. So we're going to stick with this for a second and see what we can see. Zeus really, Zeus is one of those guys right now, 4th in points. He's going up against RPM, who's not even in the point standings, just trying to basically ruin his existence. So here's Alicia. Alicia's coming in the second position, get a 150 to a 150 on Sneaky. Sneaky's got that solid line out in the front here, and I don't know if Alicia's going to be able to catch up with him with having those incredible best laps. Just trying to convert it over to make sure that they hold that constant second position here, and hopefully Sneaky can have something fall off. And that's the other thing about these races, they tend to wear down the cars. So especially with these luxury cars, you're going to start seeing them get squirrely. You're going to start seeing them get those rear tires a little hot, and they're not going to stick as well. Again, with the 150 and the 150, 151, we're getting some good lap times here. So as I said, they're going to start getting the back end of these cars. You're going to see RPM having some trouble, and we've already seen some of that already as he's been able to not put that power down. This looks like an inside move. Yes, he's taking the position from a very solid pass. I'm sure RPM was already trying to find a way. He's getting entangled in that track, trying to fight his way back to that position. Zeus putting a little blocking down. He needs that higher position. There he is coming up on the inside to take it again. This is an epic battle back here, and against one guy who's just showing what he can do with the car, and Zeus, who needs some points to convert to get up there against Patient Zero. Nobody here wants Patient Zero to take it away, and Patient has, with that Sultan, has not been able to convert much from time to get ahead. It's going to be a difficult time for him to work his way back to that leader position and make something out of it. So here we come through the chicane. Let's see how that car. See, there's where the luxury cars have their powers on their top end speed. They can really make it roll. Zeus has been able to convert a little bit with the speed through the turns and hold a lot of that momentum as he comes around. Again, those dirt tires play a key role in allowing some of these cars that have good strength to continue to be strong. Coming on the inside here, trying to take it from him. They come around deep into each other. Zeus is able to hold him off. He's trying again. RPM gets a little piece of the back end of Zeus there. Can he convert it? Nope. Still back into this thing. This is going to be a difficult section to toot here. So, and again, we're starting to see that alpha. The tires are getting worn on it, and as we get into the area, that's where these luxury cars start to suffer because they can't get the power down, and they roll around corners pretty hard. So once again, we see Sneaky still in the lead. Daddy Trump skating at third. Zeus here in fourth. RPM in fifth, fighting it out. Patient Zero in sixth. I'm sure he'd like to do something. That 152 is a nice speed for that Sultan. Still in sixth position. Our points leader is having some problems with the handicap that was set before him in the last race. Zombie Pilot still back there, and obviously Killa is having some issues with obviously upgrades. I'm not expecting that handicap to be a constant handicap with him down the road. So here we come again, right down the big long straightaway here. RPM seems to be fading a little bit, so we're going to move over. So we have Daddy Trump here. Daddy Trump in third. He's got some position up there. I don't know if he's going to be able to catch them. Those guys up front are putting down some massive numbers, and it may be difficult for him to get up and into that top tier. We're also starting to see a little bit of the lap traffic position. And one of these cars, again, this is a big luxury car, even though the Shafter is honestly the fastest in the sports class. When it comes to turning, not so good, which is why you don't see it pulling off a lot of top speeds, especially for a track that has a lot of double backs that doesn't allow it to get up to its top speed. And a lot of the things that we do different with this class, in other words, these players, even though they can curb boost and use other techniques in their qualifying lap, when it comes to the actual race, you can see they're not riding curbs. They're running straight races and being competitive with it. And that's going to be a big detriment to a car that has some trouble getting up to its top speed, but it has a very high top speed. Back here with Zeus again. He's got a solid run here. RPM is kind of just holding his position. Don't know if he's planning on moving with it. He does seem to be pushing the car just a little bit, but again, that fade could be a problem. He's working hard. Oh, look, definite. Zeus did not take that turn. He took it a little wide, allowed for a little bit of RPM's momentum. Can that luxury car's top speed do what it needs to do to catch up and take back that position? So let's fall over a little bit here. Take a look at Trump and see where he's at. Oh, RPM has put in a 150 lap. That's a big change for him. And if he's, like I said, these guys get hungry. You're going to start seeing all the times lining up and people putting down as much as they can on this track to try to convert some sort of number so that they can get a winning position in this race. A lot of guys have a lot to prove, especially Daddy Trump here, 6th in points. These guys, Zeus, Chewy, Trump, they have to get over the Juxtree Agent Ranger speed bump that's been put in their way to get to patient zero, to be able to have this last race coming up, number 10, being a competitive race. And I'm sure patient zero back there, even in his position, does not want to make it easy. So here we have Sneaky, this incredible looking car. Amazing. As we run around here real quick, we're going to stick to him. We're coming up on the end of the race. And it has been, look at this. Look at the lap times here. 150s all around. Everybody putting everything. There's RPM grabbing that top speed back, flipping back and forth with Zeus. He wants that bad. Zeus has been able to hold on to that position. But we're coming up on the finish here. And it looks as though Sneaky's going to be taking this one hands down, bar none, without competition at this point. He made solid runs at the very beginning. Alicia just as solid. Wow, 150s. See, that just right there shows you exactly the competitive nature that goes into the GT class and what you're going to see. And that has nothing to do with the racing styles of the players that you're seeing. What you're seeing is exactly how the GT series is designed to be fair and even-footed between all the racers, so that they can, even like I said, new players can come in here and be competitive and run solid runs and have a great time and a great experience. And we're just seeing this now as Sneaky comes around the final turn here to take his victory lap. And he is going to cross the finish line in first place. Congratulations, Sneaky. As you know, Sneaky is the one that puts together these races. He does have some good nights when he runs, and tonight's going to be one of those nights. So here we are back with Chewy. We already see Daddy Trump coming across the finish line. Going to try to grab him before this ends, and I'm going to guess that we're not going to have time because they're coming across the finish line really quick here. Yeah, they finished so fast, we're unable to grab it. But here we are with Chewy's. He's got 13 seconds here, so we got Sneaky in the lead. Alicia in second. Chewy's trying to make it around with 4 seconds. I don't think he's going to do it. He's going to get a DNF here and a little tapping off the wall to finish it off for the afternoon. Congratulations there. So he's Sneaky, Alicia, Daddy Trump, FS Zeus, RPM, Patient Zero, RPM getting the fastest lap, Chewy, Zombie Pilot, Philly. These guys did a great job. I want to thank everybody who has come out this afternoon to take a run with us, and all you guys out there for taking a look at the video. Just give us a like and a subscribe. Let us know what you think. Put something in the comments below. We're looking forward to seeing you next week. You guys have an excellent time, and we will see you then.